welcome to Crafting with Refined Pallet. My name is Jeff, and I'm the owner and craftsman here at Refined Pallet. And today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about sewing leather gussets. In particular, 4 different ways to sew gussets that may provide a little bit of flexibility for your leather projects, whether you're designing them yourself or assembling a pattern from an online pattern that you may have purchased. I went ahead and did a mock-up here to show different ways to sew gussets and give you some examples on each of the different methods for doing it. And these are going to be ranked from the easiest to the most difficult for a typical pattern on how to essentially stitch a gusset onto a pocket, or if you're doing a pattern that has a front and a back side, or attaching smaller compartment accessories to a larger one. So let's go ahead and get started with the simplest. The easiest gusset to stitch on is one where you can stitch on both sides from the outside of a pattern, which will be something like this, where the gusset is tilted to the inside and you can access both sides of the stitch line from outside of the project. This would be an example of a gusset that was stitched from the outside. And as you can see from the cross section, you have the little U shape here with the stitching on the outside. Benefit, this is one of the easiest gussets to stitch. The downside is it robs you of a little bit of storage area for the inside pocket that you're creating. Next up will be a gusset that has a combination of 2 different types of stitching. One where you're going to stitch on the inside and then it folds around and stitches to the outside. The beauty of this is that you're going to stitch to the front panel first, which will be easiest because this will lay flat, and then you will curve it over and do like a little S curve here to stitch it to the main body. Here's an example of that. A small single pouch pocket that is stitched with the front panel on the outside, and then down and around, and then stitched all the way through. Kind of a cross section here. The gusset stitches here, it's like a little S, and then goes out to there. Next up will be a gusset that is stitched so that both sides are on the inside. So you're stitching it from the inside and you really don't have access to both sides of the stitch from the outside of the pattern. Attaching the front side is pretty simple. You do a straight stitch and then you fold it over to the inside stitch. The difficult of doing this is that you need to have enough room to work on the inside of the project, in particular doing the second run to get the stitch going. Here's an example of that where it's stitched on the inside. So curved in, stitched around, and then stitching on the inside and around the inside here. This is pretty hard to do because you need to be able to get in there to get to the stitch line. The downside, it is harder to do. The upside is it maximizes the storage room inside the pocket that you're trying to create. And then the 4th kind of stitch for gussets is going to be one that you stitch the front and the gusset face to face, and then it folds over, so you end up with a hidden stitch, and then you can stitch to the main case. This comes into play a lot with purse design or bag design. As an example of that, we have the front pocket here on a laptop pouch that you can see that the outside stitch is face to face and then folded in half, which you have to do first, and then this entire pocket is attached to the main case, basically curving down and then flat out so I can gain access to it here. No one way to do the stitch is correct and is applicable in all scenarios, but it may provide you with some flexibility as to how you want to assemble your projects going forward. If you'd like to practice the different options for sewing a gusset together, I have provided a link down in the description below to the PDF pattern so you can create a small demo unit like this for yourself.